friends, welcome back to my channel, and we are in front of my TBR shelf ish for the first segment of this video, which is to shop my shelves. So these and then some romances over on my nightstand are the unread books that I have on my TBR. You will have already seen that I got some library books this morning. I don't quite know if I will be reading them in this vlog. I have Spy X and Yona. I think I want to do a 24-hour readathon probably this weekend or next weekend, depending on when the other volumes come in. Well, not this weekend because I'm filming this vlog, but next weekend whenever the volumes come through, because I'm waiting for 5 of Spy X and 1 of Yona. So the thing is, with Part of Your World, I have heard this is a very emotional romance, and I don't quite know if I'm in the mood for that. I'm definitely in the mood for like a swoony romance. I just don't know if I want to cry, you know? It's just not one of those moments. And then The World Gives Wake is a sci-fi about this group of people who have been living on a spaceship that was supposed to land on another planet after Earth basically like is not hospitable anymore, but they never leave the ship. And then the main character is working for this family, and they end up committing suicide and leaving her with their kids, and they tell her the ship is dying and we're all gonna be dead because they don't have a planet to go to. And I saw Riley Marie reading this and she like sobbed. So I do want to give this a shot at some point. Again, I just don't know if I'm in the mood. And then this is the one that I'm like really considering. This is the Thursday Murder Club. This is a pretty popular mystery series following a group of elderly people that are in a retirement community, and they are like solving old cold cases, and I've heard fantastic things about it. I'm considering this. So if you have watched my physical unread books video, then you'll have seen these already, but we have the second book in the Atlas 6 series. Not really in the mood for like a really high fantasy. We have To Paradise by Hana Yanagihara, which is another emotional book. We have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I have heard sort of reads like a classic, but it's really beautiful and I've heard really good things about it. So I do want to give this a shot. This is going to go on my TBR. We have Her Majesty's Royal Coven, which I have heard nothing about. It's an adult fantasy and it's about like a coven of witches. I have read the first chapter of this and it was interesting, so I just don't know if I want to read it. Then over here we have Poster Girl, which is a dystopian. Not really interested. We have Chain of Thorns, which I'm not going to be reading in this vlog. We have A Court of Silver Flames. I would have to start my reread of the second book and the third book to get to that one. And I'm kind of iffy. I have been debating rereading them recently because I'm sort of in that mood for that writing, that easy writing. So this is also a strong possibility. I don't know if I would get through the second and third one in this video, but that might be like soon to come. And then we have some other books that I'm like massively excited to get to. These are more like eventually. We have Wuthering Heights, Shuggie Bain, another emotional book. Carl Sagan's Cosmos, this is a nonfiction about the cosmos. Anna Karenina, and then we also have The People in the Trees by Hana Yanagihara, emotional, not really interested. We have The Virgin Suicides, which was not the copy that I thought I was going to get, and I'll probably listen to the audiobook because there's no way in hell I am reading that. So we then have some Brandy Sandy, some Toni Morrison, and then these are probably also emotional, and they're like, you know, classics. So they're on my like Lifetime TBR. We have the Three Musketeers, again, classic Lifetime TBR. We have some Robin Hobb that I need to read some other series before I get into this one. And then we also have another Brandon Sanderson. Not really in the mood. So from this shelf, we have these two as possibilities, Emily Wilde and the Thursday Murder Club. So let's go over to my romance little unread section, and I have some like vitamins and stuff, but these are like my daily vitamins. So we do have these romances right here. This is between a tattoo artist and a woman. This is like a fake dating, I think. And then this is a single parent, a like jock nerdy girl tutoring situation, and then I think this is like between an heiress and someone. So if I were to like say what I am pulled most towards, I would say the 1 month boyfriend sounds kind of cute. I think this is like fake dating. It says fake dating, my enemy is bitter. And then I think also Shameless, just because this is so pretty. But the problem is, I think this is a friends with benefits. And if you know anything about me, I am not massively into romances that start with a hookup. So this is my TBR for the week, I think. I think I'm gonna start with Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, just to read the first chapter and understand how I like to figure out how I feel about it. It's a gorgeous edition. It's the adult Fairy Loot, which I have stopped receiving because like not only am I not reading them, I don't know, I sort of felt like they were becoming a waste of money. Like the editions are really pretty and stuff, but I don't know. Maybe one day I'll come back to it, but at the moment I need to read what I've gotten, right? I need to get through all of the books that I have unread. I know I don't have a lot compared to some people, but I'm not comfortable with the amount of unread books I have, because I also have these, but I also have a lot of historical romances that's on my shelves still, like with the other series. I have like 3 Lisa Kleypas series, and I also have the entirety of the Maiden Lane series. I've really only had 2 consistently. I had the Fairy Loot adult box, and then I also had the Hello Lovely box trope pick of the month. And I haven't canceled my Hello Lovely box one because I do like having new romances, and because that's the genre that I like read the most of, I don't mind having a big unread TBR, if that makes any sense. It's just like the other genres that I don't gravitate towards, that I need to make sure that I'm reading before I bring anything else in. Yes, that is my TBR. I possibly might pick up A Court of Mist and Fury, but like I said, I really need to get through some of my unread books and my library books, obviously, before I go and reread stuff. And like if I reread, it'll get an unread book off my list, obviously, but that's like one, you know. I have really no plans the rest of the week. It is Wednesday the 15th. I was gonna start a weekly vlog, but yesterday was my partner's birthday, so I spent the birthday with him, and then Monday I just didn't really want to. I'm going to see a play with my mom this weekend on Saturday, and then she's like coming over tonight to do laundry because she doesn't have laundry in her building. But other than that, like, I don't have that many plans. Hi, do I say hi? Hi, look, hi. We will probably talk a little bit later on, probably not tonight, because it's 3 o'clock now. My mom's leaving work at 3:15, and I would like to get a yoga video in before she gets here. So I'm gonna start one of these while she's here, and then I will probably talk to you like tomorrow or something to go over what I started and my feelings on it. So we will talk. thought we could talk while I do the dishes and make my smoothie. So I forgot to mention that I am also reading a fantasy romance that I completely forgot that I was even reading. It is House of the Beating Wing or something like that. I'll put the picture on the screen. I'm not very far in. I'm maybe like 20 pages. It seems to be about a girl who is a fae. Her mom is a fae. She lives in like a fae court of some sort. And I don't quite know all what the story is going to be about. I think the heroine is a half fae at the very least. And her mother seems to be ill in some way. I don't quite know how. Has sort of a childhood friends situation going on with the prince of the fae court that she lives in. She has sort of a crush on him, and that's what I've learned so far. And then I'm also reading Clash of Kings, which is the second book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. And I have talked at length about my thoughts on the series in like my past couple videos. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse, so to say. But it's okay. Like it's gonna be like a 4-star. And then I also started the Emily Wilde book. And it does sort of read like a classic. The writing is pretty flowery, but I wouldn't say it's like not accessible. I think it could be worse. Like when you say something is written like a classic, there's like a certain connotation that comes with that. First up, I put sunflower seeds in. I mentioned in a previous video that I am trying seed cycling. And then we have strawberries, blueberries, banana, spinach, Greek yogurt. I would say it's pretty readable. And it seems to be about this, at least starting off, is about a woman named Emily Wilde. And she is a, I guess, paranormal investigator of some sort, or she like, she called it something. She used the like actual name for it. She has a specialty in fairies, and so she has traveled to this Scandinavian village to investigate some activity in the area relating to fairies. She's very socially awkward, and she seems to have a antagonistic friendship, I guess, with this guy that also went to like studies at her school or whatever, her college. Oh, well, I just splashed yogurt all over myself. And so she has sort of this relationship with him where they're friends, but she doesn't really like him. Like, it's sort of a grudging friendship. She thinks he's sort of snooty and kind of a know-it-all. And he's like very well loved in the department for the work that he does, and she's a little, I guess, jealous of that fact. She gets a letter from him saying that he is planning on coming to the area to research, help her research, I guess. Sort of it, like I said, the writing isn't too inaccessible. It is quite flowery and descriptive, so if that's something that bothers you, this probably isn't going to be for you, but it's very fairy tale-esque. So I'm assuming if you've picked this book up because you like fairies and fairy tales, then you sort of are anticipating a certain level of writing or floweriness or imagery or what have you. So yeah, I mean, I'm not hating it. Like I said, I'm very I'm just at the beginning. So that is the smoothie. I am going to make it, and then I'm going to probably read a little bit. It is 2 o'clock on Thursday. I'm working from home tomorrow, So I probably will do a good portion of like home maintenance stuff tomorrow. So tonight I think I'm just gonna hang out, read some, watch some people game. So that's the plan, but we'll talk later. Thanks for chatting with me. I thought we could talk while I do this huge pile of laundry, and if the sound sounds weird, you'll have to excuse me. I'm trying something new. I wanted you guys to be able to hear me while I do this, and I knew I would be moving around and stuff, so I thought we could talk about some things that I have been doing recently to kind of like work on my own body image. So if you are particularly sensitive at this moment to discussions around body and things like that, I would go ahead and skip this part. I've been doing a lot of work recently with my perception on myself and my body and all that kind of stuff. And the reason that I thought of this conversation is because I recently started watching Love Island. Now, I watched Love Island previously, a year or two ago, and I had to stop watching it because it was just like really bad for me mentally, because I just wasn't in a good place with myself and the way that I looked, and watching these like hot people that had like perfect bodies and could wear whatever they wanted and all of that just like really fucked me up. And then I started watching it again today, like this morning, because a girl that I watch her YouTube videos and I listen to her podcast. Her podcast is like partially about Love Island, UK specifically. And she talks about the episodes, and she gives a recap and gives her thoughts and stuff. And so I was like listening to one of her episodes, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to watch Love Island, because I'm not a huge TV person. I don't massively enjoy TV just because I would rather be doing other things, and I get bored of TV very quickly. And so I think reality TV is like a good escape. You can start, you can start any season anywhere and sort of understand, and it just is fun to watch. Sorry if my breathing is very weird. I'm feeling anxious today, so like my chest is feeling very tight and I'm struggling to breathe today, which I didn't even realize I was feeling until I started talking. Started watching it, and I was just able to watch it and like enjoy it, and I was able to like not feel, I don't know, like personally diminished, I guess, in some way by the show. And I think I have just done a lot of work on myself, and I have watched a lot of creators that are, plus size creators or just like body positive creators recently. And by watched, I really just mean that one creator that I was talking about. She is a plus size girl, and she makes a lot of videos about like feeling comfortable in your body, and she has videos for pretty much like every topic you could imagine. And she's great. Like, her videos are amazing, and they make you feel like you're talking to a friend in like a really safe space. And so they've helped me a lot. And I've just sort of been working on my mentality around my body in general. The past couple, I would say year to 2 years, I have really had this mentality of like, I'm not 18 anymore. I can't expect my body to be the body of an 18-year-old anymore. And like I would tell myself that, but I never really like took that to heart. I still let those thoughts bother me, and I still allowed myself to reminisce back on when I was 18 and had like the best, in my opinion, the best my body has ever looked. And that was really hard because like there's a lot of things when I was 18 that are still affecting me to this day. Like my partner met me when I was 18. So when I'm feeling insecure, it's hard not to be like, well, would he like me more if I still had that body? Which is absolutely ridiculous because my partner makes me feel sexy and beautiful all the time. Like he worships me. And he has never, ever, ever, ever done anything to make me feel like I'm not attractive or that he's not attracted to me. And so it's purely just born from the ways that I was talked to when I was younger, the people that bullied me and people that said horrible things to me that still affect me to this day. And so I've had to come to this point where I don't want to be that way anymore. Like I don't want to hate myself, this life, this body, this whatever. I only have this one body. And telling myself like, you know, for instance, I can enjoy this outfit whenever I'm skinnier or whatever is not only toxic to myself, but it's just like, why can't I enjoy these things now? Why can't I feel sexy and desirable in this body? Why do I have to look a certain way to feel good about myself? And like all those times that I told myself like, you're not 18 anymore, and like you don't need to have an 18-year-old's body. And if someone is attracted to me because I have an 18-year-old's body when I'm like a full adult, that's kind of creepy on them. You know what I mean? Those are like genuinely true things that maybe before I told myself that to feel better or try to feel better because logically I knew that that was the truth. Now it's genuinely how I feel. I mentioned this in a previous video, but I'm very like body apathetic. I am very body positive about other people, but towards myself, I find that I would rather sort of feel like this body is very neutral, have very neutral opinions about it, than have negative or positive, just because I feel like having negative or positive for myself can be a slippery slope. Because like if I look a certain way and then I get very positive about the way that looks, maybe in my head I look worse another day, and then like where am I, you know? I've been working on myself, and I felt very proud that I could watch this thing that made me feel like shit and not feel like shit from it. Like it was this thing that I could enjoy and just watch the silly nature and watch people being messy and get some sort of entertainment out of it. I am going through this journey with my looks, with my body, with everything that I'm very excited about and that I want to continue on. I want to get better every day. I want to love myself more every day, and I want to be able to say that I'm proud of where I am and what I look like, and that I can wear whatever I want and be sexy, and that I don't hate my body or the way that I look or anything like that. And like I still have those moments, obviously, and like it's a learning process, and it's going to take years for me to unlearn the things that I learned as a kid, because especially as a girl, you learn not to love yourself because you're told to hate yourself. So it's definitely a learning process, and I'm getting there, and I'm happy that I have gotten to a point where I want to heal my relationship with my body, and that's really what it is. It's healing, and getting past all of these things that I lie in bed and think about when I can't sleep. Like, I think about the things that my bullies from childhood had said to me, and I want to get to a point where that is not something that I think about anymore and something that bothers me, that I can just acknowledge that I can have empathy towards them for maybe why they treated me the way that they treated me, and also recognize that in high school and middle school and all that, you are very conditioned to believe that beauty looks a certain way, and that's not real life. That's just your conditioning. That is the media you're consuming, and that's not like genuine opinions, if that makes sense. And like, as you get older, you realize that that's not real life. Nobody is perfect, and nobody has like the perfect body. People that even you can look at and think you have the perfect body, they don't think so, because women are taught to hate themselves regardless of what they look like. And it's just a process of me unlearning that and healing from that. And it's sad to me that I'm 26 and it's taken me this long to get to a point where I want to heal that relationship. And, someone could look at me and say, well, you could lose weight or you could do this. And that's true. Like, there's certainly parts of my health regimen or whatever that could be better. But I want to love myself regardless of if I am big or not, small or whatever I look like. If I have no hair or a bunch of hair or, whatever, I want to appreciate what I have. So that's that. My camera's going to die at any point. So if you can't see me any longer, but you can still hear me, yeah. I'm glad that I've gotten to this point, and I'm glad that I can look at other people who are objectively hot, have like objectively the perfect body, and not feel somehow like I'm watching this from home on my couch and I still feel like they're attacking me in some way. Not them specifically, but just like the idea that I don't look like them is some sort of like attack. And I'm really glad that my camera died. I'm really glad that I don't have that, that sort of weight anymore on me. So, I'm gonna go change out my battery. I don't have any reading updates for you or anything like that. So we'll talk again later when I am reading, but I thought I just wanted to get that out there. And if you are struggling in any way, I hope that you are able to meet yourself at a point where you are ready to heal. And I'm going to leave down below the creator that I was talking about. Her channel is amazing. She has videos on stuff that I am very insecure about, that I just never thought. I think being insecure and having these feelings is a very isolating thing, because even though we can recognize that every woman has their insecurities, all of our insecurities make us feel a lot of shame and very isolated. And having these videos from this creator that sort of says these are very real insecurities that a lot of people have, and it's okay to have the insecurity, but it's also okay to have the thing that you're insecure about, is amazing. Something that I personally struggle with, and maybe we're getting into it because my camera shut off and you're just hearing my voice and it feels a little less personal, and I'm sure I'm gonna hate myself in editing, but I have struggled with, as I've gained weight and sort of settled into my adult body, I have struggled a lot with the way that my boobs look. And I have never looked at another woman who looked like me or had boobs like me and been like, ew, you're disgusting. But when I look at myself, I'm like, ew, what is wrong with you? Put a bra on, wear a bra all the time. Why do you look like that? You're young, you're 26, why do your boobs look like that? And I watched this video of hers where she was talking about this exact insecurity that I have. And she was like, you have big boobs. What do you expect? This is just gravity. And I'm sorry, but if you are dating a guy or someone who makes you feel insecure about having big boobs and them looking the way they look, you probably don't want to be with him, because he's too stupid to understand what gravity is like. So yeah, so it's refreshing, and it's less isolating, and it helps with any feelings of shame to have a creator be like, yes, this is something that I'm also dealing with, this is how I'm dealing with it, like, let's work through together. And then you also have like the feedback of the people that have watched this, so that you know that you are not the only one, and it feels just amazing. So I have been talking for quite a while about this, so I'm gonna come back to you guys when I've actually read something and have something to say. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there, and I hope that if you are feeling similarly, you can find some sort of comfort from this talk or from the other creators' videos or whatever. I really hope that you are able to get to a place where you are ready to heal your relationship with your body, because you deserve to live in a vehicle that you are comfortable with, that you appreciate, and that you can feel sexy in, regardless of whether that's sexy in a sexual way. We think of sexiness as in like the way that the preferred sex looks at us. Like, would they find us sexy? But it's about how you view yourself. It's not whether like someone X, if I went on a date with X person, would they think that I was sexy? No, it's like, do you love the way that you look? And I hope that you, at the very least, get to a point where you are ready to build that relationship with yourself. So that is that. Like I said, I'm going to leave all that information down in the description if you are at all interested. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now, and we're going to talk again when I have read something, I guess. Friends, happy Sunday. It is time to wrap up the vlog here. I had a lovely time yesterday. That play that we saw was absolutely amazing. It had 4 actresses in it, and it was about a woman who, she put on like a one-woman show in which she recited old plays, but she did it naked as sort of like a commentary on women's place in theater's history and stuff like that. And then she comes back to her hometown to put it on again, and she finds out that she's been replaced by a younger woman, and it's sort of like the dynamics between multiple generations of Black women in the theater world. So it was lovely. It was an amazing experience. The actresses were fantastic. Theater was beautiful. So I had an amazing time watching that, and with my mom, and we got some great food afterwards. So that was a great day. But I didn't do much reading this week, but let's kind of talk about what I did read. So first up, I did end up finishing Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and I did give this 3 stars. When I first started reading this, I was really into it. The writing was amazing. I loved the heroine. And as the story went on, it sort of fizzled out for me. Fae heroes, human, main character in kind of, not fairy world. This isn't in a fairy world specifically, but it deals a lot with fairies. There's a lot of descriptions of like the world and going into the forest and foraging and looking for clues and stuff like that. And I think the main issue that I had was the pacing. We would have a really big action, and then the falling action was immediate. Like, it would like spike up and then immediately plateau, and it was either really boring or really high action. We had these really gruesome, really action-packed scenes, and then the rest of the book was very quiet, and I think it was just a little bit off. And so it left a weird feeling about the story in general. So 3 stars, still a good story if you like very cozy fantasies. The pacing, I think, is just gonna catch you up a little bit if you are like a cozy fantasy fan. And then I also finished the 1 Month Boyfriend, and this was another one that I was really enjoying when I first started it, and it again fizzled out for me, so I ended up giving this one 3 stars as well. This is a fake dating situation between 2 people who didn't have the best history in college, and then she moves to his small town, and her ex-boyfriend is like someone that neither of them really like. He cheated on her, he had a bad experience with him, in the Marine Corps, and so they sort of fake date to get revenge against him, and of course that results in them feeling feelings for each other. I was absolutely enamored with this book for, I would say, about 60%, and I was loving the couple. I was loving several caretaking scenes that we were getting, and sort of like the more intimate moments between the characters. And I think we lost the plot a little bit, and by the end of the story I felt like I didn't understand either of the characters. I didn't understand them as people and like their motivations, and it was making it so that I didn't understand the choices they were making, because I didn't feel like they were much beyond. The heroine was socially awkward and the hero was like has PTSD. So it just became like their entire personalities, and I didn't understand their characters beyond that. But I will say that the first like 60% is absolutely adorable. Their whole fake dating transition where they're sort of having feelings for each other was fantastic, and then that transition to like an actual relationship was very seamless without drama, and I really appreciated it. It just, after that, I think went a little bit downhill. So 3 stars for that one. And then I ended up DNFing that fantasy romance that I was talking about, and I read a lot of Goodreads reviews that said after like the 20% mark the story really picks up, and I DNF'd at the 15% mark. So I might consider going back to it, but at the moment I don't really have any plans. It's just a very confusing world. You're sort of dropped in the middle of this world that has a lot of like political implications, a lot of dynamics between different groups of people, different creatures, different races, and there's real no explanation for it, and these words are used that you don't really get any clear understanding of, and so it's just a little bit hard to follow the dynamics between the different groups. I looked up the glossary. The glossary does not really help establish the world in any way. I don't mind being dropped in the middle of a fantasy as long as I have some sort of guidepost to help me along the way. I don't mind doing additional research myself, whether that be through a glossary or whatever, but this just didn't have a helpful glossary, so I felt really lost, and maybe I will get into it and sort of just like trust that at the 20% mark it'll get better, but I just didn't understand the heroine. This was another case of her motivations not really making sense. She had this childhood crush on Dante, who was the prince of their court, and she was basically willing to go on this grand adventure, trusting someone she's never met who claimed to be a prophet, to get him to be prince, but we don't really know their relationship. We never really saw them interact in a meaningful way. We never saw flashbacks to them interacting. We never really understood why she would go on this grand adventure, possibly risking her life for him just to become king. So again, a little iffy as far as character motivations, but again, I might pick it up again at one point and see how it goes. It is quite long, so I would hope that like all of those issues would sort of like work themselves out, but at the moment I'm not really gelling with it. So I also didn't get very much further into Clash of Kings. Same opinions really. I'm just excited to finish it, to be honest. And then this morning I started the Thursday Murder Club. I am 20 pages in, like I just started it maybe 30 minutes ago, and I am really loving this. I love the writing style. I love that we are following older characters in a retirement community solving murders. That's a super fun premise, and I like the narrative voices, so I'm excited to continue this one. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed following me for the week, talking about books and life and stuff like that. I'm really enjoying these vlogs where I can get sort of personal and just talk out my feelings and have you guys there along for the ride. So I really hope that you are enjoying them as well. Let me know down in the comments what you read this week. If you have any thoughts on what I read, I would love to know. If you've seen a play recently, if you're also a theater goer, I would love to know that as well. Or just like your favorite activity from this week, I would love to know that too. If you don't have anything to say, leave a mask of some sort down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you are looking for more content like this from me. You can follow my Instagram or my podcast Instagram. You can also check out my podcast on all your favorite streaming platforms. It is a horror podcast. It's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.